Fabulous. That light is so bright. And then I've got that leg, this hip is facing forward. Both hips are facing forward like tram lines. So this makes sure that they're not this way. And then I'm pulling the abdominals in, pulling the pelvic floor up, popping the ribs into their ribcage. Rotate the shoulders back and down, and just lifting that head up, growing tall. And then inhale, as you exhale, just sinking forward in that thigh. Keep tucking the tail under, bring the tail under. It's like a digger action as you bring the pubic bone up towards your nose. I'm going to move that light because I cannot see a thing. Stay in that position briefly. That is very strong. Excuse me. I can't see a thing now. That's better. Facing forward, and here I was. And I'm just going to ease back off, and then we'll change legs. So switch over. If you need a little cushion under your knee, that's fine too. You can place a cushion under there, and then pop the knee on it. Reset the hips so they're facing forward. Tuck the tail under here, so bring the pubic bone up towards your chin. So you should feel that in the front of your thigh. Facing forward, hands on your thighs, lifting up through the body, stretching forwards. Keep the tail tucked under, so you're really getting that stretch now, not just in the front of the thigh, hopefully coming up into the front of the hip here. And then release. Changing sides. I'm going to put the cushion under the other knee. I think my mat has gone, that's better, I'm just turning that up. I think my mat has thinned out a little bit over time. Keeping that right angle there. Tuck the tail underneath you. Bring the pubic bone up towards your chin. And then stretching forward. Keep that tail tuck underneath. So keep bringing the pubic bone towards the chin. Feeling that in the front of the hip. If you're tight in your quads and front at the tight of the hips, which we tight at the front of the hips even, which we tend to be sitting in chairs all day, you really feel this quite strong. And change. Fabulous. Have we done both legs each side? Or are we missing a leg? Yeah, we're missing, that's what I thought. How bizarre. I thought I'd done both legs. Lovely, hips facing forward. Tucking the tail underneath. Lovely. Shoulders back and down, ribs in. Staying up tall and stretching forward. Keeping the tailbone pulled through. Pubic bone up towards your nose. Almighty stretch in the top of that hip there. It's gorgeous. And then releasing back off. Fabulous. And I'm just going to move that out of the way. Coming into your cat stretch then. So just take it carefully and gently if your shoulder's playing you up. Let's rotate the shoulders back and down. And keep the shoulders there, so they're in their back pockets. And then just pull the abdominals up, pull them in. Really scooping the tummy flat. And pop the ribs up into the rib cage. The back of the neck just floating in line with the spine, and a little micro bend in these elbows so you're not locking the elbow joints out. And the whole while you're here, you're pushing the ground away from you. Inhale as you exhale, pulling the abdominals in, and then the abdominals curl the tail underneath you. Keep going all the way up through the spine, working the abdominals right up through into the diaphragm, over the rib cage, and then pushing into the mat with the hands and into the mat with the shins and feet as well. Inhale, yeah. Exhale, flatten in the back of the neck in line with the spine. And again, inhale, exhale, curling under. The abdominals are pulling in flat, lifting the ribs towards your back. Pushing into the mat with your hands, pushing into the mat with your shins, and then flattening back into your flat back. One more, inhale, exhale, Pulling up, pushing the hands into the mat, curling up. Inhale as you exhale. Sitting back onto the heels, staying in your high cat arch. Keep pulling the ribs towards the spine. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, going down again, stretching the spine. This is a spine stretch. So leave the hands where they are. Don't move the hands. They stay put. Inhale, pull up high, push into the ground. Exhale, leaning back. The ribs pulling away from the thighs. Lovely stretch. And back up. Lovely. And then finally elongate the spine. The shoulders come back and down. Inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to take your left hand away and go into thread needle. So a slight micro bend on your supporting hand. And then reaching through. See if you can keep the thighs over the knee. So the hips over the knees. Reaching through as if you're getting something out from under the sofa. Keep pulling the abdominals in. Inhale as you exhale. Use the abdominals to start coming up. And then push into the ground with the heel of the hand. If that hurts at all, John, don't do this one if it hurts. Inhale, exhale, reaching through the back of the hand, between the thigh and the arms, controlling that descent. Stretching out that shoulder, relaxing down there. Giving the spine some space from the shoulder, stretching all the muscles. Gorgeous stretch. Inhale, exhale, pushing up with the heel of the hand. One more each side. Exhale, reaching through. Keep the tummy pulled down. And stretch. Inhale. And coming up. Fabulous. Exhale. And reach the fingers. Reach them away, reach them away. And stretch. Inhale, exhale, pulling up and pushing away. Gorgeous, lovely. Let's come back onto your sit bones and stretch and elongate the spine. And then we're going to walk the hands to one side, leaving the tailbone on the heels of your feet. Walking it over, getting a gorgeous stretch down that long side. And then we can plop the long arm on top of the short arm and just stretching out here. Lovely. Hopefully it's stretching under the armpit and right down into the waist. And then reaching through, keep pulling the abdominals in. Walking over to the other side. Let's remove that foam roller. Walking over to the other side. The long hand on top of the short. What I mean by that is the side that you're stretching, the hand goes on top of the shorter side. And getting a lovely stretch. You might feel that, if you've got a bit of a shoulder injury, you might feel that underneath the armpit, around the back of the shoulder. But it's a nice stretch. Gently does it. And then from here, using the abdominals, pull the abdominals in and use the abdominals to sit up and just allow the arms to go floppy. Completely on your abdominals and nothing else. And then restack your spine, sitting up nice and tall. Fabulous. Fabulous. And then we're going to go into onto our back. So you need your ball. Grab your ball. And we're going to do some hip rotation work. Hip mobility. I'm looking at a very jaunty angle today, I'm not sure why. So place the ball on your lower abdominals. Interlace your fingers over the top and rotate the shoulders back and down and just pop the ribs, soften the breastbone and the rib cage down into the mat so they're not sticking up. So your ribs aren't distended, pushing them down into the mat. And at the same time, you're scooping your tummy flat. So your belly button's being pulled through to the mat behind you. And then gently pushing the ball into your lower abdominals, pushing the ball down and resisting that pushing down with your abdominals. Keep resisting with the abdominals, pushing back up into the ball. So it's like the pubic bone is tilting very slightly into the ball, holding the lower abdominals in their position here. Engage, engage. Inhale. As you exhale, you're going to straighten your right leg away from you. Leg is parallel. And as you extend the leg, you might find that to hold on to the tummy and straighten the leg, that actually you'd let go of the tummy or you can't straighten the leg. So here's a little tip, a little secret is to just squeeze the bottom muscle here of that glute of the leg that's extended, and that helps you to straighten that leg and keep the abdominals engaged. And then inhale. As you exhale, rotate the whole leg outward from the top of the thigh bone, the legs turned out, and bring it back in towards you on the outside of the foot. And then inhale, bring the leg back up to the top. Changing legs. Exhale, slide the left leg away from you in parallel, keeping up the abdominal engagement here. The lower abs keep pushing into the ball and the ball pushing back. Squeeze the glute, squeeze the bottom muscle of the leg that's extended. Inhale, rotate the leg outward. Exhale, slide the leg back in on the outside of the foot. And then bring the knee back up to the top. Again with the other side. Exhale as you stretch the leg out, keeping the abdominals switched on. Squeeze the glute when you get there. Inhale, rotate the whole leg. Exhale, slide it in on the outside of the foot. And can you make sure that the opposite hip doesn't lift off the floor? So the back of the pelvis is completely connected. Bring that knee back up, changing sides, sliding the left leg in parallel away from you. Inhale, rotate the leg out. Exhale, sliding it back in on the outside of the foot without lifting the opposite hip off the floor. Keep the pelvis on the floor. Bring the leg back up. We're going to reverse it now. Inhale, exhale, slowly lower the right knee, or whichever knee you're on, down towards the floor. And slide the leg away from you on the outside of the foot. Inhale, rotate the leg to parallel. Flex the foot. Exhale, slide the leg back in parallel. Keep checking out the abdominals and what they're doing. Inhale. Exhale, lower the left knee down to the floor. And extend the leg out on the outside of the foot. Inhale, rotate the whole leg. Flex the foot. Exhale, slide it back in. Really still working the abdominals hard here. One more each side. Exhale, drop the knee down. Extend the leg. Squeeze that glute still on extension. Inhale, rotate the leg into parallel, slide it back in with an exhale. Final side. Inhale, exhale, lowering the other knee, keeping the pelvis on the floor. Extending the leg on the outside of the foot. Inhale, rotate the whole leg in. Exhale, flex the foot, slide it back in. Fabulous. And then from here, we're going to go into a little bit of bridge work. So feet are flat, your knees hip distance apart. The backs of the arms are on the floor. Inhale and exhale, and just tilt the pelvis towards your chin. Bring the pubic bone towards the chin, scooping the tummy flat here. Pulling in and squeezing the glutes. This is your bottom muscle. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the glutes. Inhale and just release the pelvis back down. So all I'm doing at the moment is a little pelvic tilt and then back. Pull the pelvic floor up now. So as if you're trying to stop yourself going to the loo. Pull up, pull up. Imagine there's like a lift going all the way up to your belly button. And inhale as you exhale. Now bring the pelvis up. Pubic bone towards your chin, tilting the pelvis forward up to the ceiling. Inhale and release. And then we're going to peel off the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Pelvic floor comes up. and pelvic tilt. Keep going this time and pushing the ground away from you with your feet. Your knees moving away from you and your vertebrae lifting off the floor one bit at a time, all the way up through the spine, not too high, just to the upper shoulder blades. Relax the neck here and squeeze the glutes, squeeze the bottom muscles. Fabulous. Inhale. Exhale, close the rib cage and just drop the back of the ribs down to the floor first. We're coming back down one vertebrae at a time. I'm thinking about every single vertebrae hitting the floor one after the other, leaving the pubic bone till last and the pelvis high. And then finally, when you have your lower back down, then we can release the pelvis. And then just relax the pelvis the other way so you're into neutral. Inhale, exhale, and again. Pelvic floor pulling up, pelvic tilting. Pubic bone towards your nose, pushing into the ground with the feet. Squeeze the bottom muscles, squeeze the glutes, your knees going away from you, lifting up into bridge. And while holding here, we're going to inhale. Tummy pulled on. As you exhale, we're going to just dip the tailbone just off the floor and then squeeze back up again. So you're inhaling here, exhaling as you dip, inhaling as you lift, exhaling as you dip, inhaling as you lift. Another 3. Exhaling as you dip, inhaling as you lift. One more. Exhaling as you dip, inhaling as you lift. Hold it here. Squeeze and hold. Squeeze. 8, 7, 6, 5. Relax the neck. 3, 2, 1. From here, we're going to dip again, but we're going to inhale as we dip and exhale as we lift and squeeze. So inhale, dip, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, dip, exhale, squeeze. 2 more. And hold for 8, 7, 6. Might feeling a little bit singy in the glutes now. 4, 3. Relax the neck. 2, 1. We're going to peel down one vertebrae at a time. Close the ribs together and sink the back of the ribs down first. And leave the pelvis high as you can. One vertebrae at a time, coming down, working down through the spine. And then finally release the glutes. Just relax for a little minute. And then inhale as you exhale. We're going to come straight up into plank bridge. Here. Fabulous. And then from here, we're going to lift the heels and lower. Lift the heels and lower. You see, I'm keeping the body height the same. I'm keeping the body lifted as I lower the heels. Squeeze the heels down. Relax the neck. Lift and lower. See if you can lower the heels evenly. And lift. Relax the neck and lower. 2 more. Lift and lower. 1 more. Lift and lower. Plank straight back down. Getting quite strong. Here, I'll be feeling this tomorrow in all the right places. And then we're going up. Again, inhale as you exhale, lifting straight up into plank bridge. Inhale, exhale, lifting the heels off the floor, going into our dips. And we're going to breathe in as we dip. Exhale as we lift. Inhale, dip. Keep the ribs closed. Exhale, lift. Inhale, dip. In. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Hold it here and squeeze and hold for 8, 7. Tummy on strong as well. 5, 4, 3. Ribs closed. 2, 1, lower the heels and lower the spine down. Fabulous. That is a strong set of bridge exercises. Now, if you've got your band handy, let's grab your band. Whoopsie daisy, beaten up by a ball here. And then we're going to go into hamstring stretch, ITB stretch, and a glute stretch as well. So we've just strengthened it, but I don't want it to be all tightness, no flexibility. So place the foot into the middle of the band. And bring the backs of the arms down towards the floor. Lovely. And we're just getting a stretch on that leg. Making sure you keep your tailbone on the floor so you're not lifted here. The whole spine is down, the pelvis is on the floor. It's just the leg in isolation that's up in that air. I'm stretching the back of that hamstring. I'm not bending the knee. If I need to bend my knee because it's feeling that tight, then I'd rather you lower the leg until you can straighten the whole leg. And that way we will get to all of the muscles down the back of the leg, or the vast majority of them. Otherwise, we're just missing huge gaps. And then just allowing that hamstring to stretch. I do leave people for quite a long time in these stretch exercises because well, quite frankly, no simpler way to put it, it just takes longer to stretch as we age. It's a very sad, very irritating fact, but it takes a lot longer to stretch a muscle as we age, unless we've done it every single day professionally, of course. Just pointing the foot now to the ceiling, stretching the top of that foot. And then I'm going to take some little circles, little saucer-sized circles. Again, I'm keeping as if I've got that ball in my lower abdominals. I've got that feeling still. That's what I want you to feel, as if you've still got that ball and your fingers are interlaced over the ball, over your lower abdominals. That needs to, because if that's engaged, then your hips will stay still. Change direction now. So the abdominals help you keep your leg still. Your hips still is what I'm saying. It's the leg I want you to move. It's the hips that I want you to keep still, the pelvis. And bring the leg back up to the top. Flex the foot. Heel the toes down towards your face and have another hamstring stretch. You might find it goes a little bit nearer, or you might find it's exactly the same. See if you can actually relax the leg into it. So feeling the muscles give very slightly. And then point the foot to the ceiling. And we're going to stretch the underneath leg out this time, just adding on. That leg underneath that's stretched out on the floor needs to be parallel. So you're going to need to squeeze the glute on that side. Otherwise, you're going to roll onto that hip on the floor. From here, we're taking slightly bigger circles. See if we can challenge the hips and the pelvis. See if we can keep them still with slightly bigger movements, exploring that range of movement in the hip joint there. Just the leg in isolation, that pestle and mortar effect. Seeing where you can get that leg. And then we're changing direction. Keeping the legs straight all the way around, just seeing if you can get a slightly bigger circle. And your eye line is looking along the room, sort of in the heel region when the leg's at the ceiling, rather than up at the ceiling. And then bringing the leg back up to the top. I'm going to take the bands in one hand so that I can put my other hand on my hip. And then I'm bringing the leg across my underneath leg. My underneath leg stays parallel, and I'm just bringing the top leg across the underneath leg. But what's going to happen is this hip of the leg that I've got in the air is going to want to lift off the floor and go with it. But I'm using that free hand to pin that hip down and then using the band just to banana the foot round towards the floor, then curl the big toe down towards the floor. You get that gorgeous stretch down the outside of the leg that is incredibly strong. And then bring that leg back up to the ceiling and bend the leg. Let's change legs in the air. Change over. Place the other foot completely flat. Oops. And let's take a hamstring stretch on that side. Finding your flexibility here. So with me, this leg is always tighter. It's always been it's probably normal actually. The other leg is probably a little bit too loose. And this one has had a bit of a rough time of it. It didn't get the same exercise out there in Paris at the old Moulin Rouge, because it was always done on the right leg, everything out there. So the left leg is not so good. So, but I fight it every day. So it's important that we keep trying to stretch it. Bringing the back of the arms down to the floor and just coaxing it a little bit, nudging it a millimetre or so nearer. And then pointing the foot up to the ceiling, contracting the muscles underneath. And we're taking little circles, little saucer-sized circles, exploring the range of movement. That challenge is, can you keep your pelvis still, just working that leg on its own, completely independently. Have a little check in, become aware of your spine and whether there's any strain in the spine. Is any part of the spine lifted away from the floor, even a little bit? Because you'll feel a bit of an ache in there. Change directions. So if the mid-back and the upper back are coming off, you need to pin the ribs down, close them together like lift doors and sink them down into the mat. And if it's the lower back that's arching off the floor, then it's the lower abdominals, like we did with the ball exercise earlier, that you need to pull the belly button through to the mat. Bring the leg back up to the top, flex the foot, peel the toes back towards your face. The heel is leading the way up to the ceiling, so you're getting that additional stretch now. Down the back of that leg. And then we're going to straighten the underneath leg and squeeze the glute of that leg that's outstretched. Point the foot to the ceiling. Taking bigger circles this time. I'm going to go straight into my yucca plant to see. And then over and across. Inhale as it comes across. Exhale as it goes out over the edge of the body. I'm going to have to bypass my yucca. And inhale as it comes in. Exhale as it goes out. I'm really coming quite wide down the side there. Then I'm going to have to bypass my yucca. So that's not the movement I'd recommend. And then inhale as it comes across the underneath there. One more in this direction. But can we challenge ourselves to keep the hip, the opposite hip on the floor, especially with the bigger circle? And then coming into the other direction, come across. Inhale as it goes across the body. Exhale as we sweep out. Inhale across and exhale and out. I'm having to do a weird flexy thing with my foot to avoid the yucca plant. I just need to move that thing really, but it likes it there. I haven't got the heart really. And out. Bringing the leg back up to the top. Taking the both band ends, if you like, in my opposite hand. I'm then using my other hand to keep that hip down as I gently coax that leg across the underneath leg. The underneath leg needs to rotate back into parallel. And then banana the foot down to the floor, relaxing the neck, stretching the outside of that leg. And then bringing the leg back up to the top, bending the leg, and we can change legs. I'm going to do a glute stretch here with the band. It's going to seem a bit awkward. So your foot is back in the center of your band. I'm bringing the other leg up to join it and crossing my legs over at the top. Then I'm sliding the top leg down. So the ankle is, the outside of my ankle is just above my knee. Well, it'll be below, technically below if you're hanging in this position. The knee just dropped out to the side. So I've got like a number 4 shape. And then I'm bending the underneath leg. I'm pulling that band towards me, bending the underneath leg and straightening out my hips. So I'm making sure, if I have a little look at my hips supporting my neck, that my hips are completely level. And then I can lie back down again. I can use my free hand to gently push my knee out to the side of a very noisy car or motorbike or something going past. And then the more I pull that underneath leg towards my chin, the more of a stretch I should feel in the glute, in the buttock area, around the bum area of the leg that's on top. So that's what you're going for, feeling a stretch underneath the tailbone of the leg. Now, things can be happening. It could be, if you're not feeling it, that you just need to pull the underneath leg more towards you. You can use your hands if you wish to. If it's easier, you can reach through, take hold of the back of your thigh, and just let the band hang there. But this is where it's more difficult. Can you get your shoulders back on the floor? And just bring that underneath knee towards your chin, which will in turn bring the leg on top towards and stretch you out there. Fabulous. And then let's go with the other side. Depending on whether you're using your band or not, we'll take you through the same process, but you can drop the band if you need to. So left the other leg to the one you just had going up first. Then the other leg comes up, it crosses over, it slides down, dropping the knee out to the side, taking the bands in one hand. And then I can put a little bit of pressure on that knee so I get a nice turnout of that knee. I'm going to have a little look up to see what my hips are doing. My hips have shot out into my back garden, so I'm just going to straighten those. And then I'm going to keep them there as I bring, with my band, the underneath leg towards me. If that gets a bit much, especially if you've got a bit of an iffy shoulder, then just drop the band, reach through with your hands and grab the back of your thigh, and you should feel a really nice, strong glute stretch in that glute, in the buttock of the top leg. The leg on top should be feeling a stretch underneath that tailbone there, possibly around the back of the thigh slightly. If you're not feeling it, it's that you've relaxed the underneath leg, you're not pulling it towards your chin, or your hips are uneven and kinked. That happens really quickly without consciously knowing it. And then we can lower that leg. Fabulous. And then I want to jump onto the foam roller, but before I do, I'm just going to have a little hip roll. So I'm going to face this way towards you. I know it sounds strange, but I just want to get the hips stretched here and you to see what direction I'm taking. I've got the arms out to the side, control that ball, and then keep the knees together. You're going to inhale. As you exhale, you're going to drop those knees, but watch the top knee doesn't slide back like that. It will want to, so keep the knees level, and they're going gently down to one side. Initially, you can take your head that way. And then you can bring your head, if you wish, to look back at the hand behind you. Just go as low as you can. You're trying to keep that shoulder down behind, but don't strain it. We're going to relax it down with some in-breaths and out-breaths. Inhale, and then exhale and just go floppy. Inhale, exhale, and just relax. Relax everything, relax the neck. Inhale, exhale, and relax. And then inhale, pull the abdominals in, pull the pelvic floor up, and use those muscles to inch the legs back away from you again. Going down to the other side. Inhale, exhale as you lower under control, watching that the knees stay level, stacked on top of one another, and the top leg isn't dropping back. Looking back at that hand. One side might be a lot tighter than the other. And if that shoulder's not down, let's try and get that down with some relaxing in-breaths and out-breaths. Inhale. Exhale and relax. So the shoulder's gone straight down now. Inhale. Exhale and relax. Inhale. Exhale and relax. Inhale, pulling the abdominals in and the pelvic floor up. Bringing the legs back through the center. Fabulous. Grab your ball. I'm going to stay in this position. I want you to place the ball back under the pelvis. And, oops, then we're going to bring both legs straight up to the ceiling. So that ball is under the pelvis, not under the lower back, under the pelvis. And I've got my legs at 12 o'clock. And then from here, I'm going to just take my right leg. I'm trying to stay stable as possible on the ball. I'm leaving my left leg at 12 o'clock. And I'm taking that right leg to as far as I can go, roughly 10 past. Let's see if we can go to quarter past. I doubt that very much. Without moving your hips and rolling off that ball. Keeping your hips as stable as possible. And then inhale, bring the legs together. Now try the left leg. So the backs of the arms are on the floor. And the left leg going out to about 10 to 12. The right leg staying at 12 o'clock. Inhale, back in. These trousers look really funny falling down my legs. And change, other side, right leg. So this is stabilizing all that work that we've done. We're stabilizing the body. We're working on core stability. Inhale, bring that leg back in. Left leg. Out to the side. Good. Inhale. That's very good. We're going to just add on a final challenge before we leave this one alone. I'm just slipping off my ball, bizarrely. I think my little popper thing is going to come out, actually. I think I'm going to hear a massive deflation in a minute. And bring the arms off the floor. So they're ramping up that challenge a little bit. I'm laying on my resistance band. Both arms off the floor. We're going to repeat that exercise. Inhale as you exhale, the right leg coming away, leaving the left leg at 12 o'clock. That's a lot more dodgy. So inhale, bring it back to the center. Exhale, abdominals on strong. Your ribs are closed and sinking down, pressing into the floor. Inhale and bring them back together. One more each side. Exhale. Pull the abdominals in. Sink the ribs into the mat behind you. Inhale and bring them together. Exhale and left leg out. Right leg staying at 12 o'clock. Tummy muscles strong. Ribs together. Inhale, bring it back up. Fabulous. And then we'll come off the ball. Let's take the ball out. Jump on the foam roller. And we'll finish with a gorgeous shoulder series. We can do this flat if you haven't got two foam rollers. And sitting on the end of your foam roller. Sitting up nice and tall. Spine stacked, shoulders back and down. Tummy in, ribs in. And we're leaving the hands forward. Inhale. As you exhale, we're going to see if we can do a control roll down. If not, don't worry. And if it's too much of a problem, we can just walk the hands down. Keep reaching forward, working down vertebrae by vertebrae, and making sure your head has not been guillotined off the end as mine has, because I didn't sit myself far enough down. So I'm going to caterpillar down. So the back of my head's on the foam roller. If you're doing it on the floor, That's fine. I know it's not quite the same because you're not on a foam roller. So from here, lengthen out that neck. So your eye line is going to the joint where the ceiling meets the wall, rather than directly up at the ceiling. What a lovely bird chirping in my lug hole. Fabulous. And then bringing the arms up to the ceiling. Rotate the shoulders back and down. Soften in the ribs. Close the ribs. Soften the breastbone. Pull the abdominals flat. So the whole spine becomes imprinted into the foam roller. And you're like an ironing board on the top. Inhale, reach the fingers up to the ceiling. Exhale and drop them back down. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, drop them down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, drop them down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. One more. Inhale, reach them forward. Exhale, down. Very good. Inhale here. As you exhale, lowering the arms. Level with the shoulders. Sink the ribs into the foam roller. Now, rotate the shoulders back and down. When you feel that under the armpits, power the arms back together up to the top. Inhale. As you exhale, press the back of the arms down so until you're level with the shoulders. Sinking in the ribs, pulling the abdominals in, the pelvic floor up. Rotate the armpit down and around and forward as you bring the arms back up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale. So I'm trying to get you to lift the arms back up and the shoulders back up via your armpit muscles and your serratus. Rotate the shoulders back down and around. Feeling this. Little fingers coming up first as you squeezing back up. Inhale, exhale, and down. Rotate shoulders back and down. And bring the arms back up. On the next one, we're going to take the arms all the way down to the floor and stretch across the chest and the front of the deltoids now. So relax the backs of the arms onto the floor, bending the elbows, just relaxing here at shoulder level. And the first thing that's going to happen is the ribs are going to stick out, going to pop up like bin lids. And the tummy might give way, so you start arching in the back. So scoop the tummy in again and pull the pelvic floor up into the tummy area as well. That lift going up all the floors to the belly button. And then rolling pin over that rib cage so they're flat and they're closed together. The more you can do that, the more you'll feel the stretch where we want it, which is across your chest, across here, across the collarbone, across the pecs, and down in front of the deltoids, front of the shoulders there. Fabulous. Lovely. Inhale. As you exhale, stretch the fingers away from you, straightening the arms, stretch, stretch, stretch. Inhale. Keep stretching the fingers up to the ceiling. Lovely. We're going to inhale. As you exhale, one arm's going overhead. Gently does it if it's a little bit painful. Inhale, bring them back up to the ceiling. I've got all manner of wildlife flying in my studio and just having a relaxing walk around my ceiling. Change sides as you exhale. Inhale at the top, pelvic floor in. Exhale as you lower, ribs close. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more each side. And up. Good. And then bring the arms up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, both arms going overhead, looking long at the room, not up at the ceiling. So the neck is nice and long, the ribs are closed. Stretch the fingers all the way around the room to every corner of the room. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Reaching the fingers. Keep the palms facing the ceiling, so the little fingers are coming towards the hip. And then inhale, turn the palms together as you bring the hands back up through the top. Exhale as the thumbs go down to the floor behind you. Your neck is long, your ribs are closed, your tummy pulled in. Stretching around the room with an exhale. All the way around the room. The palms to the ceiling, the little fingers coming towards the hips. One more. Inhale, exhale, and low. Lovely. Stretching around the room. And then just bring your right arm across your chest. Your left arm takes hold of the outside of your arm and just give it a very, very gentle, gentle stretch. We're letting gravity really do this for us. So don't keep the shoulder back in its back pocket. And then bring that arm up. Change arms. The left arm coming across the chest. The other arm just gently stretching that arm out. And then if you've got a bad arm, got a bad shoulder, needs a bit of stretching, go again on the other side. My right shoulder's a bit iffy, always a bit iffy. So I'm bringing that shoulder down, shrugging my shoulders down, bringing that arm across, and just giving it a gentle, gentle stretch. Nothing too difficult, just gentle. And then relaxing the arms down by your side. Shoulders go round and back and down and round and back and down. So we're doing our shoulder rolls lying down. You can leave the arms on the floor if you want to, but keep the ribs flat, but they will come off slightly. Looking down the room, keeping that neck long. Lovely. And then we'll slop off the foam roller to one side. Push the foam roller away, lying nice and flat. Just feeling the soles of your feet on the floor, your toes splayed and on the floor. Your pelvis fully connected to the floor, wider. Open up in the pelvis, opened up in the spine and the back and the shoulders. Shoulders connected. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Fabulous. And then we'll drop the knees down to one side, rolling over onto the side. Coming up onto your knees. And tuck your toes underneath. We're trapped on my little toes. And coming up through your roll-up position, send the heels down. Tummy muscles engaged here and squeeze the glutes as you unfurl. Coming up one vertebrae at a time. The head is the last thing to come up.